Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this tutorial, we are going to continue to create our user management module in the content management system we are going to create. In the previous video, I have already explained you how to create the project and I already show you how to use the scaffold that I have been uploaded to the GitHub. So in this scaffold, we have 3 example pages. One of them is table layout, second one is form layout, and the third one is breadcrumb layout. So we are going to use all those templates in this tutorial as well. So now let's continue to create the user module. First of all, I'm going to add a menu link here. That's why I'm just going to open up my code. And in my code, I'm going to open up sidebar blade.php. And this one is under the resources, views, layouts, partials, and here we go. There's a sidebar blade.php. I'm gonna copy that one. I'm gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna remove this root here because we haven't created root yet. But we know that, at least I know that it's going to be users, and I'm gonna change that one to users as well. Let me reload the page. We have the users link here. Whenever I click, nothing happens. And I'm going to change the icon. So let's go hero icons.dev. Let's have a search for users. I just swap it. Okay, we have the users icon right now. And we are going to create the users link. So let me create a controller. PHP artisan make controller. It's going to be user controller. Now let's open up web.php. You can find it under the roots, web.php, and I'm gonna write root get user controller, and index method will be mapped to the users root. I'm gonna remove that one. I'm gonna import the class. Whenever I import it, it automatically puts it to the here. If you like, you can leave it like that. It doesn't matter. So now I have been created a root with an user's name, and the URL will be /users. And whenever a request comes to this URL, it will be mapped to the index method in the user controller. So I'm gonna create this method as well, index, and whenever request comes, it will be say, hey, this is users page. I'm gonna add this root to the sidebar blade.php as well. So as I created users link here, I'm gonna give a root here. It's going to be users. Okay, so whenever I click that one, as you can see, it says, hi, this is users page, URL change. And now we are going to make sure that we have the left sidebar here again, and we are going to have a table with the users in the database. So that's why I'm just going to open up the resources views, and I'm going to create a folder here. It's going to be users, and I'm going to create a blade file. It's going to be index.blade.php, and I'm gonna copy everything inside this table layout here. And the examples, there's a table layout. I just copied that one and I paste it here. And I'm gonna move to the user controller.php, and I'm gonna change that one to view users index. Under the views folder, there's users folder, and under user folders, there's index.blade.php, which is that one, and it will be load that blade file. Whenever I load page, as you can see, sidebar is here, table is here as well, and we are going to make some changes over this table. First of all, let's make sure that we don't have this store name column here, because in the previous video we have been created migration, as you remember, and in the migration we already have we just have name column. We don't have extra column for the surname. That's why I'm just gonna remove that second one and the surname here as well. And let me reload the page. Everything is working. Search field is here, and the pagination field here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load all the users from the database. That's why I'm gonna loop over here. I can make user all and user, and I can write user name. This is going to be user email, and this is going to be, for example, edit link. Okay, we're gonna change that one later on. This is going to be end for each, by the way. When I load the page, everything is working. There's some users in the database, but instead of calling the user model from here to get all the users in the blade file, I'm going to get users from the controller, and I'm gonna write, for example, users, and it will be load all users here, and this is going to be compact users. Everything is working, that's fine. Okay, another thing that I'm going to do is I'm gonna put a button here, and whenever I click it, it will be redirect me to create a new user page. So that's why I'm going to open up my index.blade.php, and I'm gonna copy that edit button here, and I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna change one to create a user, or let's say create new user, and I'm gonna create a root users.create. We haven't created this users.create yet, but we are going to create it. Let's move to the web.php, and here I'm gonna write route get users create. It's going to be user controller class and the create method, and the name is going to be users.create. Okay, we wrote users.create, and we are going to create this method in the user controller as well. This is going to be create. Hey, this is user create page. Let me click that one. As you can see, we got the message, hey, this is user create page, but I want to make sure that there's a little bit space between this pagination selector and this create new user button. That's why I'm gonna write here MB4. Okay, and I'm gonna change this icon. I'm gonna get this one, user add. I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it here. Let me see how it looks like. Okay, it looks better. And now we are going to make sure that we still have the sidebar in the left side. So that's why I'm just gonna go to resources, widths, and under users, I'm gonna create a blade file. This is going to be, let's put manage blade.php, because I'm going to use that blade file for editing purpose as well. So I'm just gonna go to examples. I'm gonna get this form example here. I will put it here, and let me close those unnecessary things. And the user controller, I'm gonna load users manage, and as you can see, we have sidebar, we have our form template here, and the one thing missing is I want to put a breadcrumb here so I can navigate through the application easily. So that's why I'm gonna open up this breadcrumb here. I just copy this now, I will put it to the on top of the manage.blade. Let me reload the page. It's here, but I'm gonna make sure that this is going to be in the right side. That's why I'm gonna write flex row justify end. Yes, now it looks better. And I'm gonna change those links here. This is going to be dashboard, so whenever I click that one, it will be redirect me to the dashboard. And I'm gonna write route dashboard, and the second one will be the users to be users. And since I'm in the create page right now, let me leave it like create. Okay, so now we'll navigate through the application via those breadcrumb. And another thing, we are going to make sure that we have name field, email field, role field, and a password field, so we can easily create user and assign the roles at the same time. So I'm gonna create another input field here. I'm just gonna copy that one, and this is going to be email. I don't need that surname area here, and I'm gonna create another field under the roles, and this is going to be password. Okay, now I can write anything, but it's visible because type is not password yet, but we're gonna change those. First of all, I'm gonna start with a name field. I'm gonna change those labels, IDs, and names, and the email type is going to be email. This is going to be email, so that's why I'm gonna write email. Okay, and the role is going to be role. As options, we have test, but we are going to have super admin, then we have admin, then we have editor, then we have writer, and this is going to be role. We already write that. We are going to create password as well. This is going to be password, type is going to be password, and ID and name is going to be password as well. And whenever I write anything, as you can see, it's looks like a password. Whenever I submit this form, as you can see, it says name has to be entered, and because we add those required attributes to the form elements. And the next thing we are going to do is we are going to write an endpoint for this form. So whenever this form is submitted, the data has to be sent to some route or some URL. So that's why I'm going to write here route users store. We didn't create this route yet, but we're gonna create in the web.php. I'm gonna add it here. Route method is going to be post because we are creating. It's going to be store. It's going to map to the store method in the users controller, and the name of this route is going to be users.store. Okay. Let me open up here. In the controller, I'm gonna write store. I'm gonna write request, and I'm gonna get all the requests sent through this method. And let me fill the form. Test user, test Gmail, role is going to be super admin, password is going to be password. And whenever I submit, I have name, email, role, and password. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this user store and user update, which we are going to create in the following minutes, it's going to be only be able to use by superadmins and admins. So that's why I'm going to create a request method, PHP artisan make request. This is going to be user store request, or let's say okay, user store request is fine. User store request. I'm gonna open up user store request here. You can find this request under HTTP request. It's here, and as I said, this is going to be only be allowed from for superadmins and admins. So I'm gonna write an if statement here. If out user role is in the array of superadmin. Let me clear that one a little bit. Superadmin. Then this is going to be true, otherwise will be false, which means that only superadmin and admin is authorized to make this request. Otherwise, whomever try to submit this form will get an error, will get an unauthorized error message. And the rules for this submission is the email, the name is going to be required. Email is going to be required as well. Role is going to be required as well, and the password is going to be required as well. Okay, and I'm going to change that request to user store request. Still, I will be able to get the all data, but for example, whenever I don't send any data, for example, if I'm a attacker, or let's say bad user, and I'm gonna make sure that hack the system, I can easily close it required, and I can delete that one, and I can submit it. But as you can see, form is not submitted. Actually, it has been submitted, but it didn't pass the validation. That's why it has been redirected back. And since it has been redirected back, all the data in the form has gone. But in some cases, we want to make sure that the old data that's already filled in the form is going to be visible again. So that's why I'm gonna open up my manage.blade.php, and I'm gonna write here value is going to be old name. So if anything goes wrong and the data is already submitted, the name is going to be automatically filled. And for this one, it's going to be email. And for this one, I'm gonna write if old role equals superadmin. This is going to be selected. Okay, and I'm gonna do same thing for the admin. This is going to be editor. This is going to be writer. Okay, but for the password, we are not going to make sure that it has been loaded again, because I want to make sure that everyone is going to submit the form and fill the password field again. Okay, so I'm just gonna open up that one. Whenever I, for example, submit, and I can inspect, I can move it required here, and whenever I submit, as you can see, email and role is here again, but password is gone. So that's why this old method is working. Okay, so now I'm going to submit again with the correct values. This is going to be password, and we have name, email, role, and password. Let me open up user controller. We are going to create the new user, because we know that if the validation is passed, the name, email, role, and password can be we can get the values here. So that's why I'm gonna create user going to be have a name. This is going to be input name. User email will be request input email. User role is going to be request input role. User created by ID is going to be auth ID, and updated by ID will be the same as well. Actually, we can leave updated by ID null, or we can fill it. Actually, we are going to fill it, and the password is going to be hash make request input password user save. Okay, and what I want, whenever a user is created, I want to make sure that whomever created it is going to be redirected to the user's page. So that's why I'm going to write return redirect route users. Okay, it says integrity constraint violation. It says duplicate entry test in gmail.com, because in the database we have this test at gmail.com and we cannot create it. So we can protect these kind of errors just before processing the data in the validation. So that's why I'm going to go to user store request, and I'm going to add here unique will be users and the email. As I remember, it is going to look like that one. Whenever I submit it, as you can see, it redirect me back, because email has to be unique in the users table. Otherwise, the validation is failed and it redirects back. And to see the errors, actually we can write some kind of validation error here. For example, if, as I remember, error email and error, I'm gonna write span BG, let's say red 500, and text is going to be white message. I think this is going to be, actually I made a mistake, because this is not going to be a variable. Instead we're going to put a key here. If there's the email key and in the errors array, then it's going to show the message. So I'm gonna do that one again. By the way, this is going to be name. Let me copy this. This is going to be here on the email. This is going to be here. It's going to be role, and this is going to be here. It's going to be password. Somehow we can get an error in the password and the role as well. For example, we can make sure that password is going to be secure password. We can add a logic for that one, and if it's not secure, we are redirecting an error message. That's possible, but I just put them here, but I'm not going to implement that kind of logic. So only the email is going to be working, and if the email is in the database, we are going to see the error. Let me reload the page. Let me add this test gmail.com password. Actually it's here. The email has already been taken, and we can add another color. For example, let's add a gray. Test Gmail test. This not looking working. It's actually it's working, but the color is a little bit white because it's not looking, but the text is here. Actually you can see it. Later on I'm going to change the template colors, and it will be visible as a red color here, so don't worry about it. But as you can see, the validation is working and we can see the error messages here. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like bg red div. Actually I'm gonna change that one to div maybe because of the span it's not working. Going to be password. No, there's some problems with the color, but it's fine. At least we can see the validation error is here. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to give another email here, for example test1, and this is going to be password. And as you can see, we have been created this user. It's here. Actually, for this video, guys, I'm just gonna stop it here, and we could be list all the users in the database. We could create a new user. In the next video, we are going to continue to edit the user and also delete the users. So we have two other logics that are left, but we are going to continue in the next video. See you guys in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you have any problems or anything that you would like to ask, you can freely ask in the comments below this video. See you guys. Bye bye.